parents of Jun Lin have suffered grief that can really only be described as unimaginable. Their son brutally butchered in a foreign country, a video of it posted online, and the sudden media spotlight from Canada all the way to China. Since Jun Lin was murdered in May, his parents have kept their grief to themselves, but now they've opened up. In an exclusive interview with the CBC's Mark Kelley, they talk about who their son was, what he meant to them, and what they think of Canada.
What a good boy he was. How can I live without him? I just cannot listen to him singing. Any recording of his voice only makes me miss him more. I wish he could be standing right in front of me now. I'm missing him so much. Every day I feel like the walking dead. The walking dead.
For weeks now, Diran Lin and his wife Zhigui have been holed up in this small hotel room, adrift in a sea of grief. They cling to the memories of their only son, Jun Lin, the pride, they say, and biggest hope of their families back in China. His dream was to come to Canada for a new life. The brutal end of that dream has sent his parents spiraling, searching for answers, but finding only pain and anguish. This is a story of their love and their loss. I know you want to speak with us so you can tell us more about your son and tell us about what he was like. So please tell me about Jun Lin. Tell me about who he was and what you loved about your son.
Since he was a child, my son was very smart, soft-tempered, and a cute little boy. Everywhere we went, people would come up to him, pat him gently on his little head, and say, "Oh, what a cute boy." We lived in a remote area with no public transportation. His father put a little seat on his bicycle for Jun to sit in front of him, and I would sit behind. The three of us would head out together on one bike, happy, going along the dusty, bumpy village roads. We chatted a lot. Jun was such a curious boy. He never stopped thinking and asking questions. "What is this, Mommy? Can you tell me what is that, Daddy?" He was very eager to learn everything. We were poor with material things, but we were a happy family.
What do you remember about the day that your son told you he wanted to come to Canada? How did you feel about his decision that he wanted to come here to study?
I was extremely happy for him. I immediately jumped for joy. I said, "Oh, my dear boy, good for you. I am so proud of you." I knew going to Canada was his long-time dream. He wanted to improve his English. He was very curious about how people lived here. He did lots of research on the internet, was convinced that as a country of immigrants, Canada is a peaceful place. He told me not to worry about his safety. This was a very safe country for immigrants. As soon as he landed in Canada, he called me. "Mommy, I'm in Canada now, safe and sound." When he arrived in Montreal, he called me again. "Mommy, Montreal is so beautiful, a lot like Beijing. Don't worry, I'm fine." He used the webcam on his cell phone to give me a tour of his room and the places outside of his apartment. "Mommy, look, this is the Montreal subway. Look, this is our street." He kept telling me, "Mommy, there is nothing to worry about. This is a very safe city."
You were in constant contact with your son almost every day. But there was a period there where suddenly he disappeared. 2 or 3 or 4 days where you hadn't heard from him. What were you thinking about? What were you worried about in that period where suddenly he just dropped out of contact?
On the 4th day, I received a phone call from his classmate in Montreal, asking me when was the last time I heard from Jun. I said the last time I got an online message was the 24th of May, 9:39 at night in China. Then he told me Jun lost contact with his friends around the same time. When I heard that, my heart almost stopped beating. What happened? It was like I couldn't breathe.
Police don't have a clearer picture today about exactly what happened in this building, but tonight they do know who the victim may be. They're trying to identify an Asian man in his 30s whom they believe had been in a relationship.
One day my niece called me. "Turn on your computer now. Jun has been killed." She told me where to look online, and I saw a big picture of my son in the news. I fainted.
I begged everyone, "Please don't ask me any more questions. I don't know anything. I don't believe my son has been killed. It was not my son." I was so weak and could not talk. I fell and fainted.
Mr. Lin, your son wasn't only killed, your son was killed in a very brutal way. And it was videotaped for people to see. And I wonder for you as his father just how much deeper this made your pain and your suffering and your grief.
The most unbearable pain for me is that the video got posted on the internet. People watched it over and over and over. It's like my son is being murdered again and again.